Caitlin Clark could take drastic action against the WNBA if they fail to protect her. Indiana Fever fans are growing concerned about their star player following another altercation. The WNBA should be in the spot it possibly has ever been. The talent pool in the league is extremely high, with Caitlin Clark being the main attraction. Other players in the league don't seem to be fond of that notion, though, as Clark has been involved in several scuffles early in her WNBA career. Sure, Clark has a competitive and fiery nature at times, but the altercations that came about during the Indiana Fever versus Connecticut Sun game this week has really put a spotlight on the league for the wrong reasons. Fans of Clark have become genuinely worried about her well-being, with many blaming the referees and the league overall for not doing anything to protect her from these instances. Caitlin Clark fans want her to consider leaving the WNBA. In fact, some fans had gone as far as to plead Clark to leave the league entirely. They feel that if the WNBA will let other players attack her on the court, then she should look out for herself and move on to a league or other venture that will be proactive in that sense. There's a growing sentiment that she should genuinely consider leaving the WNBA. It's been floated around, somewhat tongue-in-cheek. Clark could leave and start her own league, and it would be bigger than the WNBA. Caitlin Clark needs to leave the WNBA as soon as she can. The league is actively trying to injure her. Their hatred for her is incredibly obvious. This is insane. She is bigger than the league. I'm starting to think Caitlin Clark should just leave the WNBA and start her own new pro league. Caitlin Clark should leave the league, join whatever other league there is out there, safe you to the WNBA. It's unlikely that it will happen, at least so early in her WNBA career, but the league needs to consider doing more to avoid these types of situations arising once again. The WNBA was supposed to be Caitlin Clark's stage, a place where brilliance and boldness met opportunity. But just months into her rookie season, the generational talent from Iowa found herself facing more than defensive traps and full-court pressure. She was facing something far more insidious, a league grappling with growing pains, locker room politics, and an outdated approach to star power. And Clark, sharp-eyed and fearless on the court, wasn't about to let it slide. The national headlines had been relentless. Clark fouled hard again. Where's the protection? Rookies don't get calls, even if they're Caitlin Clark. WNBA culture clash. Each game seemed to carry more physicality than finesse, more shoulder checks than step-back threes. The fans noticed. So did the analysts. And eventually, so did Caitlin Clark. In a private meeting with her agent and inner circle after another brutal game that ended with a black and blue bruise across her ribs, Caitlin did the unthinkable. She floated the nuclear option. "I'm not saying I'm walking away," she said quietly. Eyes narrowed in that same way she scans the court before launching a 30-foot dagger. "But if this league refuses to protect its talent, refuses to evolve, then maybe I need to consider my other options, because I didn't come here to be a punching bag for tradition." The problem beneath the hardwood. At the heart of Caitlin's dilemma was more than just a few rough fouls. It was systemic. The WNBA had long struggled with balancing legacy and marketability. Many veterans had paid their dues in near anonymity, grinding out seasons overseas and returning to the U.S. for another summer of underfunded games and underappreciated performances. Now, a new wave of players, Clark chief among them, was reshaping the landscape. With her arrival came millions of new fans, national TV deals, and packed arenas. Yet, instead of being embraced by some of her peers, she became a lightning rod. Some saw her fame as unearned, others resented the sudden spotlight. On the court, it manifested in hard screens, elbows just a second too late, and referees turning a blind eye as if to say, "Earn it like we did." But that mindset, Clark believed, was poisonous, and she wasn't alone. Media moguls, former NBA stars, and even some WNBA legends quietly supported her. Off the record, they admitted what Clark already knew. The league needed to change, and fast. The power move. A week later, Caitlin and her team met with WNBA executives behind closed doors. What was meant to be a routine rookie feedback session quickly turned historic. If this league doesn't commit to enforcing its rules and protecting all players, especially its stars, I will explore alternative avenues, she said, placing her phone face up on the table, its screen recording. That includes sitting out. That includes global endorsement deals. That includes international play. Don't think for a second I lack leverage.